What are you doing? But why? Okay, here we go. Full belly chase once again. Now stretching out, not quite top speed yet, but definitely targeting the wildebeest that are off to our right. Now going full speed. Look at this speed. Unbelievable. Now full speed. Look at this cheetah go. Racing after the group. The wildebeest now running away. Calling in panic, the little baby one. A cheetah's pulling up. Which side is it going to go? The others are dashing in as well. I'm going to turn around. Fergus is going to reach the end of his range. Totally unexpected. Totally unexpected. There they go. Here comes D'Artagnan running off to the right. Oh, there they go. They've got it. I can't believe it. They were waiting. They were biding their time for the exact right moment. One is still going off to the right, but they're targeting that adult as well. It's obviously the mother of the calf. It's distressed. It's cantering around. There's the little ones. And the cheetah did it. They've got it. Or did it get up? Nope, they've definitely got it. All right, there it is. And they're taking it. They've taken it down. All right, let's get a bit closer. Now that the 5 males have caught a proper breakfast as opposed to a baby Thompson's gazelle, all unfolding live here in the Masai Mara, bright into the sun. These boys are amazing. They take my breath away. They are so skilled. All of a sudden, they know exactly what they need to do. They were waiting for the wildebeest to be there. Let's get a bit closer, shall we? Yeah, let's go. We got a comment from Megan saying, "Go, boys." Totally out of the blue. They didn't look like they were going to do anything. Just check there's no one coming to my right. Man, I did not see that coming. Totally incredible. Yes, Dart, you're a little slow. I'm going to beat you there. There we go. Sorry, Faith, I couldn't hear you over the sound of the engine. Why don't you just send through that question for me again? Bradley, oh, a little bit of a fight there. Bradley, you say nice catch. Absolutely. This is now the second kill we've seen in the space of an hour. They take my breath away. They absolutely do. This whole process is so smooth. It's so practiced. It's seamless, almost. And of the hunts that I've seen them attempt, I'm trying to think if I've seen them fail once. Sort of, I suppose, with those wildebeest, but that was because they were distracted by the baby Tommy. You can see the one on the left still holding on to the throat. So this baby is still probably alive, but it will be dead soon. Vanessa, you say 2 kills in 30 minutes or less. It's quite, I don't know. I'm actually taken aback. I'm at a loss for words. They really are, they are, there we go, baby wildebeest is dead. For those of you worried about it, I think it's now finished. They're just relentless and so incredibly skilled at what they do. The process just unfolds beautifully. I suppose having 5 very fast male cheetah, very strong male cheetah, is bound to work out this way. And so many people wondering if these boys are going to split. I don't think so. I don't think these boys are going to split. Hunter, no. They're not brothers, not all 5 of them. As far as we know, I believe that genetic tests are being done to try and determine exactly how these 5 boys are related to each other. You'll probably find they're brothers, 2 are brothers and then 3 are brothers, and that they may be cousins, but we don't actually know that for certain. So when we do find out exactly how they're related to each other, then we will let you know, I promise. But we don't actually know whether or not they are Now, for those of you that perhaps haven't been experiencing this drama from the very beginning, our morning started off with these 5 cheetah males hunting and herding a herd of wildebeest, the same one that they've just caught this baby from. And during that whole process, a tiny baby Thompson's gazelle shot up from the grass where it had been hiding. It was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it distracted their attention because they're cats, and it was dashing about aimlessly. It distracted their attention, and they caught it and they ate it. And during that time, the wildebeest moved away safely to a really safe distance. You've got some breakfast on your upper lip there, buddy. But during that whole process, the wildebeest ran away, and then for some utterly bizarre reason, came back and walked straight in front of the cheetah and immediately caught their attention. Now, for a second there, I thought that they were going to leave it. They were going to ignore that whole process and just let the wildebeest go, perhaps exhausted from chasing the little baby Tommy, perhaps with a touch of indigestion from trying to inhale the baby Tommy as quickly as possible. But in fact, they were just biding their time, and I think what they were doing was waiting for the wildebeest to move into a place where they could properly chase them without running the risk of running into the tree line. And that's, I think, what they were doing. I think they were planning it out that way. So all of this has just happened live. It's unfolding first thing in the morning here in Kenya. It is nearly 8 o'clock in the morning, and these Cheetah Brothers, just like hobbits, have just had 2 breakfasts. Stanley, no. That is the amazing thing about the fact that there are 5 of them. You see that they are tucking into their meal very, very quickly, and that's because cheetah lose their kills to hyenas and lions all the time. But because there's 5 of them, we've actually seen them chase away 1 or 2 hyena on a regular basis. So the fact that there's 5 is a really large intimidating factor for a hyena, and although the hyenas come calling, and often in large numbers, and steal their kill, when it's just 1 or 2 individuals, then in that situation, the cheetah will be able to chase them away. What we saw yesterday during one of our action broadcasts was the cheetah caught an adult wildebeest, chased away a hyena, and then themselves were chased away and lost their kill to 3 lionesses. And that's why they're trying to eat as quickly as possible. There's no time for fighting or scrapping. Joe, you want to know where the 5th musketeer is? All 5 of them are here, but only 4 of them are feeding. There's D'Artagnan off at the back there. I don't know why he's separate from the rest of the group. I don't know why he hasn't started to feed. He's the gentleman with the collar, obviously, and that's why he has a name, D'Artagnan, because he's easy to recognize. He might be exhausted. It might just be that he doesn't feel ready to eat yet, and because this is a large kill, he knows that he will still get something. So it's not as urgent, but you can see him panting really, really heavily. So he's cooling himself down, recovering. Cheetah expend a huge amount of energy when they run that way. Now, it is interesting because I've seen this a few times. D'Artagnan seems to be the outcast of the group. I don't know why it is, but there's something about him, and I promise you it has nothing to do with the collar. The animals don't see the collar. That doesn't affect him in any way. There is something, I think it's his size. He's the biggest of them, and he always gets bullied. He's always a little bit away from the kill. He only ever feeds a bit afterwards. Now, I don't know if that's because he's keeping a watchful eye for predators or scavengers. I don't quite know. And often when we followed them, and we do follow them at night and during the day, he tends to be the recipient of their anger and aggression. And all he'll do is walk up to one of them, and they'll bowl him over and attack him, and he'll fight back. And then they'll get up and go. The 4 will leave him, and he'll walk quite far behind them. But then they stop and they get worried and anxious and call him. Now, I don't know exactly what goes on within the dynamics of a coalition this large. It could be because it's quite a young coalition. It could be there's a little bit of vying for dominance within the group, but I don't know why it is that Dart is the one that's singled out. It always seems to be him. Every single time I've followed these cheetah, and I've spent a good few hours with them, he seems to be the target. Hey boy, I think it's because you're the biggest, personally. You present the biggest threat. But don't worry, he will get to feed. I promise you he will get to feed. It's also, the cheetah are sort of crowded in around the carcass. So there's not that much space, and perhaps he's just being magnanimous. I don't think so, though. He was very far behind during that entire process. Mr. P, they ate the entire baby Tommy. It was quite a young... Here comes Dart. He's going to come and join them. I'm just constantly looking around because you never know when a scavenger's going to appear or a lion attracted by the sound of that kill. It wasn't a silent kill like the baby Tommy. Sorry, Mr. P, speaking of the baby Tommy, they ate the entire baby Tommy, bones and all, or most bones and all. They essentially consumed it in the space of about 15 minutes. It was very small, very soft bones because it was a baby, and as a result, it was gone in a few minutes. Let's see how this situation plays out. I'm going to be quiet in case we get some sounds from them. There we go. Peaceful. Peaceful. One of the cheetahs budged up for him a little bit. Or possibly to just take the best feeding position before he did. I'm not sure. And there we go. See how alert their body posture is. Glancing over their shoulders, they don't want to get caught unawares by a lion sneaking up on them. That would be deadly, or potentially deadly. I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit longer so you can hear the squeaks. Let's see if they keep doing it. Now, of course, every time I say that, they decided to go quiet. Timing. So I'm not nearly like watching a lion at a kill. Laura, no. D'Artagnan is not a king cheetah. Absolutely not. So a king cheetah is a sort of a genetically slightly different cheetah, where it's got an excessive amount of melanin, and as a result, instead of having spots, it's got these incredibly large black blotches that are almost similar to stripes. Their coloring is much, much darker. They tend to be a little bit larger. It is a recessive gene, and it's quite rare to see in the wild. There have been a lot of breeding attempts to artificially increase the number of king cheetah, which is an odd thing to do because, I mean, it's a naturally occurring gene, and nature sorts herself out far better than human beings can. So to try and breed the king cheetah and pretend it's an endangered species, all cheetah are endangered, and that gene will express itself when and where nature chooses to allow it to express itself. But no, he's not a... There you go. It's not quite like listening to lions fight, is it? Little squeaks and growls. You will hear the sound of another vehicle starting up as well. That, of course, is because we're in a reserve and there are tourists that come and view these sites. Jason, I often wondered this when I've watched them feed. So you want to know if they're taking turn watching for lions. I think it's a combination of two factors. I think that they are vigilant, and I think that sorry, Jason. You see, he is dominant, D'Artagnan, when he wants to be. That was submissive body language from the cheetah on the right. Yes, in a way, I think they take turns looking for predators or scavengers. But to be honest with you, I think that's really more of a fact that they actually have fed so fast that every now and again they need a bit of a break, just to let the food settle a little bit. And then, as an added advantage, it allows them to sit and watch and keep an eye out. But who knows? I mean, we can't read their minds. So it might be that they have a planned out system of sentries I don't think so. I think it's more just they're tired and they're stuffed, and they need to take a little bit of a break so that they can eat more. You can see now all three sitting up, breathing very, very rapidly, because that whole process, when they fill their stomachs like that, first of all, the stomach very rapidly expands, so it presses up against the lungs, which means that their breaths are naturally shallower. And then at the same time, it's also releasing a huge amount of heat, and if you factor in the chase as well, they get very, very hot very quickly, and that's why they're panting that way. This has been a truly extraordinary morning. It is time, I think this time, I really mean it this time, I think it's time to say goodbye to those of you joining us for this action broadcast. Faith, can I just say, as we are return to our regular viewers as well, or just return our attention solely to you, can I just say that Faith saved me there from what was nearly a very, very bad call. So well done, Faith, for keeping the action broadcast going. I would have been furious with myself if we hadn't managed that. I'm just going to take a sip of water, because my poor larynx is now a little overworked. Okay, right, while we watch these male cheetah feed and tuck into their very well-deserved wildebeest meal, what we're going to do is send you across to Tristan. We've been keeping you away from Mr. T, and I think it's time you go and enjoy a little bit of time spent in his enormous company.